Hey guys, welcome back to the Community Cares Podcast. I'm Dave. I'm the Executive Director here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet.
And I'm Chaplain Chaz Blackburn, and I have the honor of being the president of Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, this amazing organization.
Wow.
And we have a really awesome guest on today. I'm really excited about this. I do a lot of work with the District Attorney's Office for the Great Basin Chaplain Corps and serving, different families who've been victims of crime. And so I'm really just intrigued to learn more about what you guys offer. And so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as a public information officer?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm the public information officer. My name is Kendall Holcomb. I've been in the role for 3 years and always busy, but I love what we do and happy to talk about what our office does and how we help the community.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in and being part of this. We really care about the community, and so I'm sure we're going to have some good conversation. If you want to learn more about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, this podcast takes place inside a Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, and we give away clothes free to those in need. We're going to jump into our sponsorship segment. Our first sponsor is Shelley's Hardware. Shelley's Hardware is a small, local retailer that where if you need that bolt or if you need that big lawnmower, they have it all. But so a few weeks ago, I actually went in. I needed keys made, and I walked in, and the person at the front said, "Hey, how can I help you today?" Crazy thought.
Pretty rare, right?
that shouldn't be rare.
Yeah, it's true. They actually acknowledged you.
I'm like,
Didn't run the other way, yeah.
Right.
if you're an introvert, I guess that's not great, but it was like one of those things. I was like, that's kind of cool. I didn't have to go find someone to get those keys made. They just did it. And it didn't cost a lot. It was pretty reasonable. So if you need keys made, if you need that leaf blower, whatever you need, they have all sorts of different items, and they can also order them in too. And you're supporting a local business that supports a local nonprofit that you love. That's why you listen to the show. So thank you guys. We really appreciate that. And the next sponsor we're going to highlight is Spherian. Spherian Staffing is your local guide to staff, to get those people hired that you actually need and want, not the ones you don't want. They're very excellent at making sure you get the right fit every single time. Spherian Staffing has been in the Reno community for quite a while, and they really do care about the community, which is why they support the Community Cares Podcast.
Did you say it right this time?
Yeah, Spherian.
I don't know.
I know, I say it wrong sometimes.
Okay.
It's terrible, man.
Spherian.
Oh, Spherian.
Spherian. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brian.
Not Spherion. That's what I've said for like 100 shows.
I love it.
I said it wrong, but
I love that you can text. I say this every show, but you can text them to ask for a job, and they can. Yeah, it's really convenient.
the VP listens to the show, and he told me, Dave, you say it wrong.
Hi, Brian.
I'm like, oh, man. Oh, man. Terrible. Anyways, we really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and we hope you continue to support us, even though I've said the name wrong so many times. So thank you. Thank you, Spherian. We appreciate you, and yeah, let's get into the meat of the episode. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, Kendall. And I would love to hear what is going on at Washoe County District Attorney's Office.
So we're always busy, obviously. So if you're not familiar with what the District Attorney's Office does, we prosecute all of the felonies in Washoe County, so all of those major crimes, as well as any misdemeanors in unincorporated Washoe County. So always busy, tons of cases, and we're kind of focusing a lot right now on crimes involving seniors, since last month was Older Americans Month. So we're really trying to put information out into the community to let seniors know that there are a lot of scams that are happening right now and just kind of how to be aware of that. It's crazy.
It is almost an epidemic, honestly.
Yes.
I have a friend who she was walking her dog, and of course I won't say her name, but she ended up having a stroke, and she ended up in the hospital in ICU, and it looked like she was going to die. And this individual happens to be a good friend of my friend Andrea Pelto, and so as she's in the ICU, the daughter, who's the POA, goes into her bank account. She's missing over $100,000.
Oh, jeez.
And so I'm happy to say that this individual is doing well and recovering at home with her family, but I'm not even sure this individual is aware anymore because of the stroke and loss of memory. But someone was scamming her as a romantic interest, and it was just shocking. I mean, it's hitting everywhere. So many seniors. I saw you at the senior fair. I work in the senior community, and it's really devastating. We've had a lot of recent hospice cases where families are taking advantage of these seniors or caregiver agencies, and it is a serious issue right now.
It is.
You know, Chaz, that is really nice of you to help seniors when you're one. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're giving me enough gray hairs, so I think I'm on my way.
I just appreciate it, man. It's very selfless.
There's this precious patient I have, and obviously for HIPAA, I won't say the name, but my dad's a chaplain as well, a hospice chaplain, and we were doing a joint visit, and she said, "Is this your older brother?" And she pointed at me.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, "Whoa, you got to be kidding
Yes,
me." She's got great eyesight, so I don't know what to say.
Shots fired.
I love it. I love the chaos.
She was dead serious. I was like, "Oh man, gotta get back to the gym."
That's funny. And you did.
And I did. This was actually a while ago. You're right. So, but
Yeah, you hit the gym, dude. You're looking trim.
I've lost like 20, 30 pounds. So
I know. You inspired me. I'm going for more walks.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good.
Awesome.
Good to be healthy.
No argument on my overweightness. Thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Well, you just used to be really, really skinny. I think you actually.
Wow.
I think you actually look really healthy
my
now.
God. What?
You look stronger.
Dude. Stop.
Just
Stop.
always give eternal compliments. Just stop. Stop.
I'll just stop. I'll listen to the DA's PIO. She knows a few things about how to answer questions.
I'm going to tell Nika that you said that.
Oh, stop it.
You scared of my wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is scary.
I know.
You should be.
You should.
I don't even know your wife, and I can just assume.
Dude.
Always.
Actually, she's really cool. You would probably get along with her.
Really?
You guys are both kind of, yeah.
Kind of what?
I
Kind
was
of
gonna
what,
say,
Chaz?
have a little bit of
Wait a
like
second.
sassy attitude, I wouldn't mess with either of you, so
That's fair.
that's fair. Oh, okay. Enough making
Anyways.
fun of me, Dave. So a common question that I've been getting asked.
Yes.
Well, actually, once you finish your train of thought, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
You've
You're
been
good.
prosecuting a lot of
Yes. No,
senior
you're totally
crimes.
good. Yeah, a ton of senior crimes. So we're really just trying to let everybody know that these things do happen. We are addressing them. We had a really big case where a woman was scammed out of $500,000, which is, I mean, it's insane. It's heartbreaking.
Crazy.
And hers came from a false Amazon text. And so it really... there are so many things that we think it's so easy to just like, oh, of course you're not going to fall for this scam. But when these people prey on that fear and that immediate anxiety. And so it's like she clicked this link because she thought it was a false charge. And then she gets a call because now like she's engaging in the technology. And the scammers are like, oh, we're federal agents, we're investigating you for money laundering, and you need to give us your money in order to, and, so on and so on and so forth. And this woman, who's an intelligent woman, they just prey on that. They prey on that immediate terror. And so we have it on our website. We really encourage everybody and anybody, whether you're a senior or not, especially with these types of crimes, because we are seeing them so prevalently. Take a beat, take a second, take a step back, call your bank if it's a bank thing, call, whomever the legitimate source is instead of clicking those links. And a lot of times, if you do take a step back, it's easy to realize it's fake. There's a typo in the URL or something like that.
Especially to seniors, though, that aren't used
yes,
to technology.
It
could be really scary. Even like the sheriff's office is calling because you have a warrant or an unpaid speeding ticket.
Yes, and they won't do that. That is not a thing. You hear the commercials that like you will not be contacted. It's true. That's not how you're going to be contacted if there is something that's legitimate. The actual agency will reach you in a different way. But so yeah, seniors, like I said, that's a huge thing that we're seeing a lot in the community right now.
I'm gonna share a story. It was a few months ago now. I got a text and it was like an appeal. It was obviously fake, but it looked real. Like those scams are getting good.
They're getting very
like,
good.
I'm like that. If I didn't know better, like. It took me a second. I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, duh, it's a scam." But still, if it was that for me,
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone who doesn't know how to spot a lot of that stuff.
Well, and some of them are, so actually this happened to my mother, who lives in California last month. She gets a call from an unknown number, but it was a local number. So she picked up because she's like, she works in finance. She's like, maybe it's a client, something like that. She answers, and this gentleman is saying, oh, I was driving and your daughter and I got into a car accident. My sister who lives in the area, and he implied that it was her. It had her name. And was like, we got into this car accident, and we're not going to go through insurance, so if you come down here with $5,000, we'll just walk away. And at first my mom was like, oh, I don't know, like, let me call my sister. And then the guy started getting aggressive and starts threatening and yelling at her, and so she starts panicking because she thinks that this is legitimate now. And he's like, he has some woman in the background pretending to be my sister, yelling, saying I need help, whatever. And so now she's panicked, and so she leaves the house in a fear, and my stepdad's standing there like, what is going on? And she drives to the bank and is on the phone, and the guy's like, don't hang up the phone. If you hang up the phone, like, we're gonna hurt your daughter, all of these things.
That's horrible.
And luckily, thank God, a teller at the bank was like, something is not right, and called 911 from their phone.
Wow.
And the police came, and my mom was on the phone with this person for probably like 6 hours because they were trying to track this person down. And unfortunately, in my mother's case, the person disconnected and they weren't able to find them. But that's a phone call. And the law enforcement officers, this was over in Placer County, was like, they use AI now to replicate the sound of your loved ones.
Yep.
It's horrible.
And so many people post information on social media, so it's like they had my sister's name, they had all of this identifying information, so that's why my mom thought it was legitimate. And again, my mother, she's incredibly, she's a financial advisor, like, she's very intelligent, and that immediate fear of, oh my God, my daughter's in danger, she just ran to the bank because that's what she thought she had to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, even if you think that it's fake, it's still alarming, and especially when you hear your loved one's voice or just someone yelling at you and getting aggressive.
And you don't want to be wrong. Right. Even if you think it's fake, and you're like, but what if it's not?
Right.
So.
That's crazy. Well, they're definitely getting good. And so thank you guys for taking a tough stance on that.
Absolutely.
I think that's an important topic. And I think our seniors, as a general society, sometimes get forgotten. And I'm not saying you guys specifically, just in general. And so I was really happy I did meet you at the senior fair. So I loved you guys having a presence there. And I got some great brochures. I even got a brochure I was really happy about that talked about what happens after strangulation.
Yes.
That's an excellent trifold brochure and resource. Why'd you look at that?
Like what?
Well, these are real things that happen.
They are.
And they need people need to understand, their resources and what some of the side effects are, and that's half the battle. But for recovery is to be able to get through that trauma. But a question that I've gotten in general, and this isn't targeted towards your district attorney office, but in general, and I have read some things on different media reports, is what does it mean when cases sit in early case assignment? Are you familiar with that?
So it can, depending on the agency, that can mean a couple of different things. So with our office, the way our process works is a crime is committed, right? Somebody assaults you, let's say. Police are going to investigate. They're going to talk with you. They're going to do an investigation into it. If they believe there is enough evidence for a suspect, they will submit that to our office. And that goes to, in our offices, it's called the bail intake team. BIT is what we call them. And so the BIT looks through it and determines, is there enough to move forward in the initial process? They look at what's called the probable cause sheet. That's usually filled out by law enforcement. And then they kind of go through that. And so our BIT team and our records team is kind of that initial first step. And then if they do determine there's more to move forward, we fully take on the case, and then it's assigned to a deputy DA and moves through the process that way.
Is there, so those cases, if there's not enough evidence, do they eventually drop off?
It depends. So if there's not enough evidence, what a lot of the time we'll do is we'll kick it back to police.
Okay.
And we'll say, hey, we need X, Y, and Z. Are you able to get this for us?
Give them a chance to get that evidence.
Give them a chance to do it. And to be honest, at the last time I checked, we have a 92% where when we initially get a case, we then move forward. So less than 8% get kicked back.
And see, that's not what some of the media things were saying.
I know.
So that's why I like asking these questions.
Absolutely.
Because it's for full transparency, and that's when you think about.
Wait, the media lies.
We all know that.
I know.
Are you sure?
All sides. You used to work.
I did. I used to work in news.
Oh boy.
But-
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
Local media, I will say, is generally much more honest and
Yes.
accurate. Local media.
Generally.
Generally.
Well, yeah, there's no perfect media.
No.
Okay.
Well, and there's a bad
Yeah,
egg in every
absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Community Cares podcast might be perfect.
Well, we don't really report on anything. We let people report on it, so that's
That's
a
true.
fail safe.
That's true.
But 92%, that's excellent. Thank you for
Yes.
answering that,
Yeah,
because
of
those are
course.
the kinds of things that you just don't know, you know?
No, and it is, and so our office does what's called a no issue memo, and those are actually public documents. So if there is ever a question for an individual, they can submit a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request as to why, let's say, a case was kicked back. A lot of the times we do, include very minimal information because those are public documents, and we're trying
Sure.
to protect the privacy of the law
Absolutely,
enforcement
yeah.
agency and the individuals involved in the case. But we do usually have a verbal conversation with the law enforcement agency to say, hey, again, this is what we're looking for. If you can get us this, we can move forward. And so sometimes some cases do take longer because they're building that additional evidence.
right.
And then sometimes, like I said, 92% of the time, we're like, no, we have enough, we can move forward.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the resources, because it's not just prosecuting
Yes.
cases, and I think people just assume that. But you guys actually have the Victims Advocate Unit
do.
and a lot of great resources. So tell us a little bit about what you guys offer.
Yes. So our office is actually much larger than people realize. We, like you mentioned, we have the victim advocates who are incredible. We've got 7 of them, a few of them who are bilingual. And the way that they work is if you are a victim of a crime, you are automatically assigned a victim advocate. And that person is going to be with you through the entire process of your journey through the judicial system. So they will answer any questions you have. They will sit with you if you have to do hearings or go to trials or anything like that. They do a lot of warm handoffs with resources, which I know is how you are aware with our office. So I believe in 2025 we did 39,000 resource contacts.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's huge.
And people don't realize too, because sometimes there's, unfortunately, the way that our system is designed to be innocent until proven guilty. And there's just going to be the cases where there's not enough evidence to get a
Yes.
conviction, and that's it's not a perfect system. That doesn't fall on anybody. It's a broken world.
Yeah.
But one thing I really do respect about is even if your case doesn't get prosecuted, you still can go for things like VOCA,
Yes,
Victims of
huge.
Crime funding. And I actually know from something that happened with my daughter, which I won't go into, there was no prosecution, unfortunately. However, there was counseling that was provided through Victims of Crime funding. And at that time, I wasn't very established as a full-time dad, and I couldn't even afford counseling at that time. And this really helped me. And so that's a great resource, even if you're not able to get a prosecution or feel like you've gotten justice in that sense, to be able to have those resources come alongside you. It makes a huge difference.
It does. It's amazing. I mean, that is actually one of the things we use the most. Of the 39,000, I think that was, quite a bit of it is informing people about VOCA and how they can do it, and walking them through the process and helping them with the application process. Something else we have that's actually relatively new is we have an interpreter now in our office, full-time. She's a new position, and that has been incredible because that provides a resource to both the victims and the families who, sometimes the judicial system's complicated.
It is very complex.
It's incredibly complicated. And I mean, I work in it, and I still sometimes I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I will text the DD and be like, I don't know what this means. Please explain this to me. Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And so having Mari as our interpreter, and she's incredible, she is able to really explain the process to the individuals. And then, like I said, several of our advocates themselves, including our supervisor, Amparo, are multilingual. And so that is just amazing to provide that to the community.
And another thing people don't realize, I think, especially for Washoe County is huge.
It's huge.
There's so many rural areas.
Yes.
How are you guys, do you guys have those same resources for the rurals? Is it all
We do.
countywide?
So yes, it's countywide. So our advocates are actually great. We have an internal system where we list kind of all of our resources that we predominantly use. Okay. So our staff, even if they're not an advocate, like let's say somebody calls and they're like, I have a question, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. Can you point me in the right direction? We have an internal intranet that gives a list of like the different resources and the contact information, and we'll share that.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. If someone's listening to this and they need help from you guys with some of the resources you mentioned, but they're scared,
Yes.
right? Because it's scary to go to any government agency if you actually need help. It is. It's intimidating.
It is.
You don't really understand how it works. There's two things I'd like you to do real quick. Is one, explain how the process works for getting support from you guys.
Sure.
And then two, maybe your plea to that person that may not get the help because they're scared to do it.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You don't have to come in person. We do have a building across from the old courthouse. We're at 1 South Sierra Street. You do have to go through security, which can be intimidating in and of itself, but everybody there is very nice. And you can come up to our public-facing 4th floor, and there are people there at the counter who will talk to you, who will bring somebody forward if you have questions that are more in depth that they can't answer. But if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. You can call us. Our information's on our website. It's broken down by category. So if you're a victim or whatever specifically you're looking for, you can reach out. My information's on there. So if you're not sure, give me a call, shoot me an email. You can text, I think, the number that's actually listed as well, and I will point you in the right direction, or somebody else will, and we'll happily answer any or all questions that we can.
Right. Is there a nicer person than you?
We have actually, I think so. I mean, I think.
Are you saying she's nice or not?
I don't know. I don't know. How do you take it?
Approachable, yeah.
I'll tell you more. I don't know.
I was like, I hope I'm approachable.
You're very approachable.
I'm sorry. Anyways. So it's the plea for the person
Yes.
then. That needs those.
Realistically, the way I look at the district attorney's office is this. It is hard to do when you are a victim of crime or if you have questions, because it's scary and you or probably somebody you love have been hurt, and that is one of the worst things that you can experience. If you come, and we hope that you do reach out to us and or law enforcement, even if it's law enforcement, that's totally fine too. We will help you get the care and justice that you deserve, or the person you love deserves. That is the whole goal of the district attorney's office. Our phrase, our mantra is justice first, people always. And a part of that is when a case comes to our office, even if there isn't a prosecution, which obviously, of course, we never want, but we hope.
Yeah, but it happens.
It happens, that is life. At the end of the day, at least it means that people fought for you. And we're trying to help you in the best way that they could. And I can say with 100% certainty, every individual in the district attorney's office right now wants to be and cares so much about this community.
Is there any story you can kind of share, like a success story, just basically showcasing what you're describing right now?
Oh God, I mean, there's so many. What type of crime?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many prosecutions? That's
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. We do a lot of different things. Like I said, we have a misdemeanor team, so some of it's smaller crimes. And then we do all the way up to, unfortunately, homicides, which, sexual assaults, things like that. I think it was a big high-profile one was the Caitlin Rock case. So if you're not familiar, she was an employee with the Washoe County School District. She groomed a 13-year-old boy.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The case is honestly heartbreaking because this woman knew better. She did. And she groomed this child into having a sexual relationship with her for more than a year and a half. And the victim at one point tried to end things. And she continued to push it, and eventually the victim's mom learned about through a series of events, and this victim was incredible during the trial and during the sentencing. He gave such an impactful victim impact statement, which is something that all victims are entitled to during sentencing, because they can provide victim impact statements. It's a chance for them to address the defendant directly, either by speaking to them face to face from the stand, or if they wanted to write something, an advocate will read it for them. But it's a chance for them to begin their healing process.
I was gonna say that's a big step in trying
huge.
to heal, to be able to have a voice again.
It is,
especially when their voice was taken. Maybe.
Yes, and so this case got major media attention because of the nature of it. You have a female defendant sexually assaulting, which is uncommon comparatively.
Right.
And like I said, this child came forward and was open and honest about the situation, which he didn't have to be, because that's scary.
It's scary and kind of embarrassing.
And embarrassing. And he was brilliant in what he did, and she got 144 years to life.
Wow.
Woo.
Yep. Yes. And I will say I was a little disappointed in some of the community members, because we shared this out on our social platforms, our press releases and whatnot, and there were there were some people who were like, why did she get so long? Obviously she will die in prison, because 104, I mean, she's not going to live past 104 years. She's in her 40s now. And I was like, the things that she did to this child, this is a child.
Right. That's a little alarming that people were questioning that.
But it's interesting because, and there was somebody who made a comment, whereas if the genders were reversed, we wouldn't be seeing this.
Exactly. It's so true.
And so it was interesting just to see the different community responses, and most people were very, supportive of the case and the sentencing. But none of this really would have happened if the victim didn't, at the beginning of essentially the end, disclose to his mom what happened.
Wow. Well, you guys deal with a lot of really difficult things, heavy things. And so I'm glad you guys have good self-care. And I know this because I got to present to the victims advocates unit. And when I was going out the back door, I looked and there's like a little gym on the window, along the windows. And I thought that was great. So you guys can work out and get some stress out in between meetings and be able to be in a safe environment, because there are people that do not like you guys because you prosecuted them or their family, and rightly so that you guys have prosecuted them. But I had to laugh because I was like, that's a great place to have a gym in between meetings.
It is. Well, and it's actually, the other thing that's great is, and I don't think she was at the senior fest, I didn't see her, but we have a facility dog, Case.
Oh, nice.
And this dog, oh my gosh, like, I love her. I also babysit her outside of work when her handler is unavailable, so I'm very lucky. But so she's from Canine Companions, and she's meant to be for victims. So she will go up on the stand with victims, predominantly children, but she'll do any.
Wow.
But it's great because when she's not working with victims,
she's providing pet therapy to you guys.
She is. And it's great because, she hangs out in Terry, that's her handler's office, if she's not working. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been a few times where it's been a rough day. Yeah. And I'll go in there and I'll just lay on the floor with her.
That's awesome.
And a few people have done that. And that's been a huge, and that was something that her handler Terry really fought for the last 5 years, is to get her. And then District Attorney Hicks really was so supportive of that, because he'd seen dogs in other instances and how beneficial it's been. Yeah. And so he was really supportive of that. And now that we have her, it's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes.
We got to take care of your staff.
Yes.
It's heavy stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need a therapy dog, buddy.
We have one for the hospice. And so when Lainey, her name's Lainey, she's a golden retriever, she comes in. I'm paying more attention to Lainey than I think everybody else is. So.
Oh boy.
It's a good mechanism to relieve stress. So.
It is. And part of it is, I think really in any job, I think, all jobs have stressors, and self-care is really important, whatever that looks like for the individual. So, yeah.
Well, how can people support? Obviously, our taxpayer dollars go to support the district attorney's office, but are there volunteer opportunities for individuals?
We don't, only because of the nature of the work. But I would say, honestly, the biggest way you can support the office is we attend community events quite often. Come up to the table and ask questions. We're here to answer them. I'm there. A lot of my staff is there too. And if you have questions, ask them. Like I said, we have social platforms. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can reach out to us through those platforms. But really just being aware of what our office does and helping share the really hard work that our staff does, that is really the most important thing for us.
We like to learn about the person behind the role. So as we wrap this up, I do want to ask you, so how did you get in this role? Because you were saying you worked for a news station prior to that.
I did.
Tell us about what made you want to be a PIO for the district attorney's office? That's not something you think of growing up.
No,
right? It's a special role.
It is. So I worked in news for a little more than a decade. 7 of the years here in Reno, with the NBC affiliate News 4. And actually, right at COVID, my contract ended, and I was just really burnt out because I'd worked in news for so. It's 24/7, 365, and
Absolutely.
I was the leadership position, so I was on call all the time. And I was like, oh God, I miss spending time with my husband. I miss spending time with my family. And so right before COVID hit, I chose to leave. and I actually took a PIO position with the state, state of Nevada, in with the Department of Behavioral Health.
Wow.
And then COVID hit, and my focus was in mental health.
Wow.
So I was the PIO for mental health
Oh, man.
during COVID.
How was your mental health through that?
Not great.
That's rough.
that
That's
was rough.
rough.
It was rough. But we did a lot of really good work, and I met a lot of amazing people. And then, just because of the nature of that, with the mental health with COVID, I got burnt out with that. Sure. And a colleague at the state actually saw this posting for the DA's office, and she's like, "Hey, like, look into this. You're great. I love you as a PIO. I know you're kind of burnt out with mental health. Check this out." And I remember having worked with the DA's office when I worked in news. Sure. The gal who was the PIO at the time, Michelle, I'd worked with her back and forth over the years, and so I was like, "Oh, you know, I my sister-in-law is actually a DDA in Sonoma County, so I'm familiar with the work." And I was like, you know, I think that could still be really meaningful and really good work. And I interviewed, and apparently they liked me, so they hired me.
That's amazing.
And I said I've been there 3 years since March.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
I mean, and I can tell, is there a personal calling to that? Just to dive a little deeper, is there a personal thing that makes this rewarding for you to seek justice for others?
I think it's, you know, for me, I had experiences growing up that really colored my life, and were hard, and seeing the way the district attorney's office specifically works and how they're so supportive of victims of crime. Yeah. And the way I always kind of think about my work is, it's really hard to see every day, because I see everything as the PIO. I see every case. I sit in on trials. But at the end of the day, my thought is, I'm seeing this because it's being addressed. It's being dealt with. Mm-hmm. And justice is hopefully being served. And so I think if there's ever an opportunity for any person to advocate for something that you believe in, do it. It's sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's scary. But if you love what you do, and I do, I love what I do, it is worth it 100% of the time.
It's a calling, right?
It is.
So
Chaz, what are your final thoughts for the day, sir?
Well, our cliche saying is, be the change that you want to see in the world, and I definitely think you're being the change. And
thank you.
And you're loving on families and the community during very, very dark and difficult times. Yeah. So thank you for being the light, and
thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. So if you want to find out more about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, please visit getclothes.org. And that's the place to find out all the information about events and other things happening in your community. So we're all over the place. We're always doing stuff. We're always having fun.
You look great today, by the way.
And Chaz is always at all the senior stuff.
Looking good, brother. Looking handsome. Nika, don't kill me. Some brotherly love there, buddy.
We help over 800 people a month, no matter what. We're asking you to come along and help one. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Care.
We will see you next week. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.